All right, it's our Easter month in March, so our hearts and our minds turn to the journey of Jesus and what he did and what he brought to the planet. And we know the impact is something we don't understand, right? This is a life force that has affected us at such a core and deep level. How many people have ever lived on the planet? And how many people do we still hold as our touchstone to God, as our way to feel that greater God that we cannot even imagine? But because he came to the planet, because he walked in the earth as a human, and he was as we are, we can feel his energy, and he can reach us no matter where we are in consciousness. How awesome is this? It's pretty powerful. So when we really start looking at his journey, I wanted to just take a few little steps to help us understand how we can eventually get this CrossFit Foundation in our own lives. That's ultimately our goal, right? Not just to, but to become. He said, everything I do, you shall do in greater. He said, God is my Father and God is your Father. So we're all family. And you know how you don't want to let the elder brother do all the work? Well, maybe it's time not to let the elder brother do all the work. So it's time for us to really start taking that responsibility. Okay. All right. When he was young, we know from the Aquarian, Jesus had in his heart a knowing of God. He had a knowing of God. So, but he wanted to know how everybody else knew God. So he would go to the teachers in the temple and he'd say, why do you do that? Why do you sacrifice? This makes no sense to me. Where does God say to kill these animals? And they had no answers for him. So he would talk to all of his teachers. He would ask them all the questions. Why do you do what you do? This makes no sense to me. Teach me. He actually started exploring the mindset of how humanity worshipped in that day and time, right? But his love for God transcended their theology. So no matter where he went, he would listen, but he would speak of his own truth, what he felt was true to them, to these masters, to these sages. And they were in awe at his wisdom, in awe at his ability to understand that God energy. They agreed with him. They agreed with him totally when he would say, well, God is love. God doesn't judge. God doesn't separate people into castes and identities based on servitude. God loves all men equal. And the sages would say, I agree with you. But I don't know how to take that thought and put it into this vast religion that I am a priest of. How do I take that thought and integrate it into this reality? There was no way for it to fit. So even though they might agree, what could they do? Do you see? And he found that over and over again. Every religion at that time was set up and had been set up for thousands of years. You may not realize that. Brahman, the Brahmin faith, Buddhist was the newer one. He went to China, Persia, Assyria, Greece. Most of their ways of worship were thousands of years old at this point. And how are we going to change that? The Jewish faith was also 1,000 at least years old at this point. So this man is coming in with these wonderful new ideas of how we can worship God, and everybody goes, you're right. There's nothing we can do. Do you see? So now we have this beautiful energy faced with, how do I bring into this world an idea where people can actually take what I'm saying and act on it? Do you see? So, all of our beliefs always define our realities, you realize that. All of our beliefs define our realities. And in the realities that were defined in his time, they also created the culture. It's one thing to change a religious belief, it's another thing to change a culture. That's a whole national identity. So people at that time, their religion and their culture were the same. Okay? So when we think about what Jesus was bringing, I want you to go with me just for half a second. And I want you to think back. I know everyone in this room has had a moment when either in a dream or a meditation or in a physical experience, you felt the presence of that heavenly state. Where you might, in a dream, all of a sudden be confronted with an angel. Now, they don't have wings in your dreams. They're just a presence there, and they'll talk to you, and you go, oh my God, there's nothing but perfection here. And you immediately feel your imperfection. Oh, this is new to me. Has everybody felt that? Or felt God just pouring through you and guiding you, or intervening on your behalf, or something, that touch that feels like another world? Please tell me you felt that.
Yes.
Everybody. That's what Jesus was bringing. That other world. How do we touch that other world? And when you feel it, like I said, you go, and then most of us don't know how to explain it. But I've said repeatedly, and I would stand by this, put me in any city in the world that I can speak their language. And let me interview every person that walks by. I guarantee you, virtually 100% have had some spiritual touch. 100%. They don't have a way to articulate it because it doesn't fit in their reality. They don't have a way to say, yeah, I saw my mom after she died and come and talk to me, and it was wonderful, she's beautiful. They don't have a way to talk that language. But do you know how I know that they have all had some sort of spiritual experience? Because they're children of God. Because we are children of God, and we are not put on this planet to walk alone. God reaches out and touches us all the time. God is in all things all around us. But that parent aspect of us reaches to us all the time. But most people are told, like I was told as a young child, don't speak of this at church. Go to church and don't speak of what you know. Go to church and just do what they say. You know? That touchstone, that oneness, that love of God, that miraculous space of perfection, non-judgment, pure love. That is what Jesus is bringing. Got it? Take a breath. You didn't know every one of your brothers and sisters has had that experience, did you? Did you? It doesn't matter what faith. They will have had something. All right. How does the internal realization of divinity fit into a rule-based theology? How does an internal realization of divinity fit into a rule-based theology? Very difficult. When we look at the religions, again, of that day, they had priests in almost every faith, because we have to have somebody that's better than everybody else. And that person can go talk to God. And in the Jewish faith, they had what they called the Holy of Holies, and only certain priests, after so many years, high priests, could go into this Holy of Holies, where the covenant was kept, the Ark of the Covenant was kept. And I've read about it many times, over the years, reading the Bible, and, over and over again. And I'd never seen a Holy of Holies until we were in Egypt, and that was 95. And we were at a temple in, I believe it was Karnak. And the guide was walking us through the temple, and he took us into this room that was no bigger, or maybe just a tish bigger than the bathroom off our foyer. And he said, and this is their Holy of Holies. And I said, the Egyptians had a Holy of Holies too? Totally forgetting that Moses was Egyptian. I hadn't connected those dots yet. And Moses created most of the religion. So, the Holy of Holies. Only the highest of high priests could come into that space. And he said, and this is where they washed God and fed him. Only the highest could walk into that space. And so I stood in that space. But I was quite surprised how small it was. The great grandeur of God is held in this small space where the hidden secrets are. And you know the greatest hidden secret that's held in the Holy of Holies? The secret that's held there is, we don't know. We don't know God, and we don't know what we're doing. That is the deepest secret held there. We really don't know what we're doing. We're going through the motions that have been taught to us. We're doing what we think we know to do. We're trying to honor God in the way our ancestors did, but we do not know God. And when Jesus came, his energy was, the Holy of Holies is where? It's in you. God is in you. He was trying to take the power of this so separated energy and give it back to the people. Power is in you. That beautiful space where that connection occurs is in you. I know you all already know this, but we're building our Christ foundation here, okay? All right. I wanted to share with you just a little bit in the aquarium when he was a boy. I think he's like maybe 8 years old. And a man had asked him a question, and he gave him one of his profound answers. This is a rabbi. And the rabbi said, "What teacher told you that? Who opened this truth up to you?" Because the rabbi had no idea, but he knew it was true. And Jesus said this, "I do not know that any teacher opens up this truth for me. It seems that truth was never shut. It was always opened up, for truth is one, and it is everywhere. If we open up the windows of our minds, truth will enter in and make herself at home. For truth can find her way through any crevice, any window, and any open door." And the rabbi said, "What hand is strong enough to open up the windows and the doors of the mind so truth can enter in?" And Jesus said, "It seems to me that love, the golden thread that binds the 10 Commandments in one, is strong enough to open any human heart so truth can enter in and cause the heart to understand." Love. Love is the pathway to truth. He is a child, and he knows this. Love is the pathway to truth. How often do we get caught up in all these extravagant ideas and complexities of thought, trying to figure out what's going on and what's right and what's wrong, instead of going right back to the simplicity of, am I feeling love right now? Because if I'm feeling stressed and anxious and not myself, I'm moving away from God. If I'm feeling that beautiful love of God, I'm moving toward God. Do you see? Very simple. And so this is what he wanted us to do. So I wanted to give you just two steps actually, of how he did it. The first thing that he did when he went back into his world, again the question, how can I take divine enlightenment and put it into outer representation? How can I put it into a religion? I can't. So he gathered the people and he decided to change their thoughts. Because your thoughts are the creative force. Their power was outside of self. They needed to see their power within themselves. And I'm not going to go over all of these things. But he took love, and he loved them. And then he said to them, one of the few sermons that we have record of, that we've inherited, we don't know if he actually said these things, but we're going to assume since they're full of truth, he may have. He might well have said these things. This is from the Beatitudes from the Sermon on the Mount. He said, "Blessed are," they would have heard, "you will be delighted when." That's how their language would have translated. Not, God is going to blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Oh, God is going to bless me if I stay meek, and then I'm going to get the earth. That's how we hear it, isn't it? Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall have peace. Well, God's going to bless me with peace if I act peaceful. That's how we have heard it all these years. Say, I have. Okay. What they would have heard is, you know what? You are going to be so delighted when you seek peace, because when you seek peace, peace is going to come to you. Now who's in charge? You're not waiting for God to bless you. You're going to be so delighted when you seek peace. It's going to come to you. And the meek, we think meek is meek. The meek in his day and time were the poor, hard-working people that showed up every single day. Every single day. Poor, hard-working people. Blessed are the poor, hard-working people. Delighted are the poor, hard-working people, because they are putting their energy into the earth, and the earth is going to pay them back. You see? Every one of those Beatitudes is about investing your energy for a different return. Where's your power? It's moving now back. Delighted you will be when you act this way. When you do this, you're going to be delighted with the results of your investment. Changing your thoughts. Instead of waiting for a blessing from a God or from a priest or from someone outside of self giving you absolutely no control or power over your life. He said, no, let's change our thoughts. You will be delighted when you do these things. Do you think them hearing that in that day and time, they were shocked? Yeah. They were probably shocked. Because he never said, and then go sacrifice this, or go do atonement here, or be sure you make it to that celebration. It was all about them and God, changing their thoughts. Okay. When we teach the metaphysics of the Aquarian, we make them learn all of the Beatitudes. All right. He loved them. He told them, be happy, delighted you will be, happy you will be. Happy? Do you want to invest in your happiness?
Yes.
Happy you will be. Okay. All right. Jesus is teaching them cause and effect. As you put your energy out, it will return to you. All right. The other thing that he did is he changed their identity. The first prayer that we have record of is the Lord's Prayer. According to Dr. Rocco Errico, who is an Aramaic scholar, he said that it's quite a short prayer, as prayers go in the Jewish faith. Most of the time they're long, and a lot of it is praising God, beseeching, whatever. This was a very short prayer that focused on love and forgiveness. And in the prayer, Our Father. Now in the faith, they did think God was Father at some level, but Abraham was Father, our forefathers were Father, our identity was around the human fathers. And he shifted the identity to a personal Father. The word he used when he said, Our Father, which art in heaven, was a personal word that meant a personal Father. Not a Father that doesn't know us. There are many words for love and Father in that language, and it was personal. Do you think any priest would have taken exception to that? Yes. Now it's a personal Father, our Father who art in heaven. So I'll read you very quickly what they would have heard. This is not my meta on it. This is what they would have heard. Beloved Father, sacred and set apart, your presence is here. Your will be done. My daily needs will be met. Untie and release me from my creations. Untie and release me, forgive, and prevent me from making a mistake. That's what they would have heard. Now who's in charge in this prayer? I am. I get to make mistakes if I want. I get to untie, I get to make a mess. I get to tie myself or untie. But I am acknowledging God as my personal Father. You are sacred to me. You will supply my needs. Your presence is everywhere. Your presence flows through me. Now, I acknowledge all that. Now, help me clear what I've already done, forgiveness, and help me make good choices. Because ultimately the responsibility is mine. Totally different approach to God. So Jesus changed their identity with that prayer. God is my Father, their identity. So the whole process that he did was bringing power from outside and uncontrolled to inside and choice-based. How do we make a faith that is choice-based? How do we make a faith choice-based? There is only one way possible, and that is to teach people to go within. The Father's within. Do you know that he sat in silent prayer and meditation for days on end? It was not uncommon for him to meditate for 7 days at a time. It was not uncommon for him to disappear, see you guys, and they'd find him in a mountaintop, or he'd come down from the mountaintop, or he would leave his disciples. He would have to go and get back to God. He always went away and sat in silent contemplation. They don't necessarily use the word meditation, but when you are centering in to talk to God, is that not meditation? The only way to have a faith that is choice-based is to make sure your connection with your God is clear. And internal, you have to go within to touch it. This is why metaphysical Christians, we can come together and we can know, yes, we love Jesus Christ, yes, we believe everything he did, and we know we don't know all that he did at all. But we can come together, and each of us can have different political views. We can actually have different parenting views. We can have different religious views. We can actually have different religious views. But we come together because we're based on one thing. Children of God, go within, make your choice, and everything you do, we want to be for the good of the whole. As I do good for me, it blesses all of you. If I have a great day and I'm dancing and singing, you guys are going to feel like, whoa, Cindy's having a good day. It's going to lift everybody. It lifts everybody we're in contact with. So I want you guys to start having more good days. So it's easier for me. And that's the gift we give each other. Meditation, going within. If the Father is within. Kingdom of God literally meant counsel of God. That's what the Aramaic, it's counsel of God. Go to the kingdom of God, go within to the counsel of God. Meditate. All right. The world can only show you what the world has accepted as knowable truth. I'm going to read that again, just because I like it. The Spirit gave that to me. The world can only show you what the world has accepted as knowable truth. The world has a lot of truth that if in your hands, they fear you might do something different with it than they want. See, I knew that. So the world can only show you what they've accepted as knowable truth. Are you going to look to the world for your guidance and answers? You can only see what has already been created. And you cannot see what is true for you. You have to go within. All right. We don't have to go back and study the Beatitudes, guys. We don't have to study the Lord's Prayer. That was for a people 2,000 years ago, specific to their needs. But perhaps you could write your new Beatitudes for you. Perhaps you could say something new for you. I am delighted. I am so delighted when I can ask God for a divine idea, have it flow through me, and become a reality in the world. That delights my soul. Yeah? Yes. There are so many things that you could say. I am delighted when. Now, in that delight that I just said, the action step, the causal energy is I go within and I ask God, and then I do what I'm guided to do. So that's my cause, and the effect is what I've asked for is born in the world. And I'm participating with God. And I'm putting my energy in, and God is making it happen. Do you see? All right. You can work on your own. I'm delighted when God's love heals every cell of my body. I'm so delighted when God's love moves through my body. Again, there's a causal energy. I'm turning to God. I'm asking God's love to move through my body. I allow it. The effect, I am healed. So simple is it. Are you guys thinking? Are you thinking this is too difficult? Okay. All right. Causal energy, identity. The foundation of the Christ. Our power is within. If you don't know that to the core of your being, you will be schooled until you do. I'm sorry. God is within. Love reveals all. Have you ever been mad at somebody and something happened and just yelling at them? Just giving them what for? What's the first thing they do? Do they spill forth the truth? Oh, heck no. That file opens and every excuse they can think of, everything to divert your energy. They'll even lie a little bit to get you off their case. But when you have anything that approaches you and you can actually go into a space of love and say, okay, I'm willing to hear what you have to say. I'm willing to stay in love with you. We don't know where we're going to end up. We don't know what the answer is, but I can love you while we find the solution. And then is that person going to open to you? And you know what they're going to say 9 times out of 10? I didn't mean it. I have no idea what I did. Yeah? And that's their truth. Love reveals everything. The greater love we hold, the greater we are lifted, the greater realms of wisdom. Jesus said, I have so much to tell you guys, but you cannot understand. 2,000 years. Reckon it's time. And I can't tell you. It's in you. It's in you. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. The foundation of the Christ is in your heart. You are a child of God. That identity is sure and certain, and you should be able to speak it to everybody, including your biological parents. Love you. Thanks for bringing me down. but I'm a child of God. I'm a child of God. All right, ready to go within?
Yeah.
Put your feet on the floor. Father, Mother God, we ask that your light just engulf this room. And I ask that beautiful columns of light just engulf everyone in their own beautiful column of light. And I would invite you to look at that light now and just notice what color you might have around you. And I want you to feel that this is your safe and sacred space. You are also safe and sacred. Open your heart. Feel a desire within you just to touch the energy of God for a moment. And take a breath, and in your mind, imagine with me that you are taken into your heart center and you can see a beautiful garden. For some of you, this garden is very familiar. For some, you may be visiting a space for the first time. I see God move into a space in your heart that is safe. And just feel the energy. There should be some spaciousness about it. Or maybe things there. I want your focus to stay on you. And right where you are, where you stand, you can stand or sit in your heart. But in your heart, I want you just to feel and shut your eyes. Father, Mother God, I am in this sacred space of need. Let me feel you. Let me feel your touch flowing through me now. You may feel energy. There may be colors. There may just be a soft image that floats through your mind's eye. You may not notice anything in this moment, but because you have asked, it will come. Breathe in what you do, sense, and staying in that heart garden, open your eyes and look at anything you see around you. I am a part of God, and God is a part of me. Everything you see in this heart space is a part of God. And all that you are is God. And feel that divine connection. Breathe. Father, Mother God, I ask that each one in this moment, as they have opened their heart to you, I ask that they are now blessed beyond their ability to even ask. I ask that your infinite love shower them. And as the blessings come to them, let them see and recognize your hand. As they walk in the world, let them know the divine light that comes to them. Because in this moment they have asked. Feel your love for this space. And gently breathe and become aware back of your body, coming back into the chair, back in your body, feeling the chair that you sit on. But before you open your eyes, I want you to envision, think about, or feel the presence of Jesus the Christ and thank Him. Just send a beautiful, beautiful hug of gratitude. And let Him go. You are ever connected in the heart of God. Take a breath, send your love into the room. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Well, I hope you could feel something, and if not, that's okay. It comes to you at the perfect time. But remember, asking is opening the door. And I want to share something. It is always my great delight to see someone who has struggled with meditation. Someone new in our church who says, oh, I'm not getting it, I'm not getting it. And then we'll be sitting there and they'll share out of the clear blue, oh, you wouldn't believe I saw this, 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 and this, and this. And Patrick and I both remember when they didn't get it. They have no idea even when they cross that threshold. They have no memory of not being able to meditate. Do you understand what I'm saying? But because they didn't give up, they just kept trying, got frustrated, kept trying. The door opens because they asked, you see? And it's such a beautiful moment. So your beautiful moment is coming. So expect those blessings. Say, yeah, God.
Yeah.